Welcome to another edition of Fitness Tips with Chrissy. Today we're going to talk about how to improve your squat technique. Now there are many ways to do a squat correctly. Some you may be engaging more of your back chain, working your glutes. You'll see some people coming up from squats doing more like a deadlift technique where their butt comes up and then their torso comes up. That's okay. It's using your glutes and your low back a little bit more. And just like doing a good morning, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're wanting to work on a technique that will help in many of the CrossFit or other types of power lifts where you're going from a very low position with your hip joint breaking the plane, going lower than the knee joint, we're going to do an exercise today that's going to help you keep your hips low and then work on extending your ankle, your knee, and your hip joint at the same time as you drive yourself up, rather than starting from this low position and doing a butt up first and then lifting the torso. Alright, so for this exercise, I find it's most helpful if you start from the low position. So we're going to start in the bottom position. Now for this, you want your heels down on the ground. For those of you who might not be able to get that dorsiflexion, you can slide a plate underneath your heels and that will help. But you'll need to do corrective exercise so that you can get that full dorsiflexion in this position. So you want to position yourself so that your feet are just a couple inches away from the wall and your knees are just about an inch away from the wall. From here, you're going to pretend like you're in a squat with the bar on your back, and without letting your face or your knees touch the wall, you're going to stand straight up and then come back down. Now you may want to work a smaller range of motion and only come to where your hips are just about the same level or maybe just a tiny bit below the knees, depending on how strong your knee is, and just practice this range of motion with no weight at all. Once you get familiar and comfortable with doing that, and you can do that form without letting your torso drive forward, because if you're used to letting your butt come up first, what you're going to notice is your head knocks into the wall. So being close here, you make sure you're in that proper squat form. Now it's going to be a lot easier if you don't have any weight. Once you add weight, your body's going to go, what's going on? And you may start to tilt forward. So then what you can do is grab a kettlebell and keeping it up close to your chest or down in between your legs, either is fine. You're going to do that same thing and just practice keeping your torso upright. Then, once you get comfortable with that, you can add some dumbbells to your shoulders. Again, increasing the load and mimicking more that position that you would be in if you were going to do a back squat. And then slowly wean yourself away from the wall and start practicing in a squat cage where, again, you're keeping your torso upright. You want to look in the mirror as you do the squat so that you can make sure, again, you're not doing that butt up position. So if you're looking in the mirror and all of a sudden you can't see your chest, you know your butt's driving you up. You want to make sure you're using all of your muscles to drive your body straight up into that extended position. So the next time you're in the gym to do your leg day, I recommend doing your warm-up up against the wall and just going through that technique, that pattern of keeping your torso upright as you're doing the squats. That way you ingrain that neurokinetic pathway in your body so that when you do get under the load in the squat rack, that you make sure you're doing the form that you want for a good squat.